Warning: this program contains strong language, auditory violence, and mental nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. In the beginning, there was rage.
Welcome to Unshackled Fury, your new, uncensored home for all things Warcraft.
Then new allies joined the cause.
I give you Navox. Say hello to the folks, Nav.
Well, thank you for that very nice intro there. Yeah, hey guys.
And now the next phase has begun. You are not prepared. Welcome to your uncensored home for all things Warcraft. With your hosts, Berzerker and Navox, this is Unshackled Fury. You heard the ridiculous voiceover. A new era has begun, and the Unshackled Fury podcast is back with a vengeance. Welcome to episode 44. I am your host, Berzerker, and with me, as always, is the White Wizard to my Dark Lord. He is Navox. Welcome back again, sir.
Happy 2019, first podcast of the new year.
First podcast. Coming in hot.
Yeah.
Coming in hot.
Absolutely.
Blazing hot with guitar solos and badass music and
the horns, the French horns.
And
love
the
those French horns.
We are making ourselves known this time.
Yeah.
Yes, we have our brand new intro, something that we've teased off and on here for a few months. And in the latter part of this episode, you will hear our interview with Kane German, who is the musician that we worked with to create that. I mean, he did most of the, listen, he did all the musical part. We just gave him advice. Like, this is what we think we want or whatever.
Yeah.
He goes by Kane Kong here around the parts of the internets, but you'll hear all about that later on the episode. But we had a pretty good time talking with that dude.
Oh, he was a blast to talk to. I mean, honestly, he like talk about third seat have been awesome just to have him on the third seat. Like he's really, really fun to talk to.
Yeah, he was he was fun to work with, and I'm glad that translated into the interview. So hopefully you guys will enjoy hearing that. In this first episode of the year, it's a supersized episode. We've got rage, we've got news, we've got interview, the whole kit and caboodle, and we're running our first contest of the year.
Woo!
So we're coming out guns a-blazing as promised. When we appeared on the Dark Moon Herald, I said, you know what? In 2019, man, we're gonna have some new stuff, and I'm gonna hold to that. We've got something coming. If I can get my ass together and get this thing put together, I'll have something brand new, sort of, for our next episode that hopefully folks will enjoy, and I'd like to make it a running gag, and I'm saying this now to sort of make myself commit to doing this damn thing. And I don't want to say what it is because maybe I'm leaving myself an out, but hopefully we'll get that going. But yes, in 2019, I really want to start getting more bits on the show, more things that are beyond just the news and the usual things that we and pretty much every other podcast does, and start making this podcast a little more fun, a little more unique, going back to some of the things that I think we did in the first iteration of this show. So we're looking forward to that this year. And now that we are back from the holidays, how was your break?
Oh man, it was, the break was really good. did a lot of family stuff. Other than
That can
that,
be dicey.
yeah, it can be dicey. But yeah, we're actually, man, let me tell you, 2019 hit, and it's like things just, everybody has ups and downs, and everybody makes New Year's resolutions. We're gonna get to kind of that stuff, but like 2019 hit, and my truck decided to just basically, it's like, hey, listen, I'm really on my last leg here. You need to put me out to pasture. It's terrible. It's horrible, but like it's time to replace the old truck. So we're in the process of shopping for.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're in the process of doing some shopping around and looking at some vehicles, this, that, and the other, and all that kind of stuff. And I did get a chance to level up some tunes. I took a break from WoW for a little bit during the holiday season. I took a break from raiding and spent a lot of time with the family, and I really
good. That's healthy.
Yeah, it really was healthy, and I will tell you that I think everybody needs to take a break from time to time from WoW, just to recharge the batteries, and it really did help, because I ended up logging in the game, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know what I want to level, but I'm trying to collect all the armor pieces and for the war fronts and whatnot. And since I mainly warriors, I should level another plate class. So I start leveling a Ret Pally, and let me tell you something. Ret Pally is the way to go when you're like, if you're just looking for an alt, like if you don't have an alt, or if you're just like, I don't know what alt to level next, level a Ret Pally. And honestly, like what Metzen had said, if you get that need to just dish out some justice every once in a while, and Ret Pallies just kick ass. I mean, you're just basically indestructible. And I'm taking down elite rare mobs and stuff like that I wasn't able to do on my monk, and it's just, and this is at low level, 110, 111. But the neat thing is I'm doing it with the XP bar off, so I'm letting the story drive this time around. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to send my paladin off on a mission. His mission is to go and cleanse Drusvar, and he's going to be there till the story is done. I'm not looking at an XP bar. I'm just going to go on that mission and let the story drive him and where he's going. And
there you go.
I don't feel like because when you have an XP bar there, you're like, okay, so I'm 95% of 100, and it's 3 a.m. and I got to get up for work the next day. I'll finish out the 5%. Not just, F it. Just you do your thing. You camp out. I RP in my head, so it's like my guy goes and does his thing. He camps out. He gets up the next day and does his thing. So I'm just having some fun with that.
Real man stuff.
Yeah. So how about you, man? How's the new year and all that good stuff?
It's been a bit of a mixed bag. Definitely had a little bit of a step back from WoW and gaming just in general, because the holidays are insane.
Yeah.
At least in my household, where pretty much from that week leading up to Thanksgiving up until this past weekend, which was the 12th, 13th of January, we just have holidays and birthdays, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. So it makes very, very poor raiding time and game playing time, and we managed to get in with my raid team when I could for the most part, but it's just not a lot of extemporaneous time, which is what I really need. And I'm glad that time has finally ended, and now I can get back into the swing of things. My raid team's going to take a little bit of a break this week right before Dazara Lore launches, just because we finished up what we needed to do, and it's good to your point, just take a little bit of a breather. On a personal note, unfortunately, it looks like our 15-year-old cat is on the way out. She's been pretty sick as of late, and she's starting to get to the point where she's not eating anymore, and she's having trouble getting around, and it's pretty sad in the house right now. I've had to talk to my 8-year-old son about, this is, it's a natural part of life and that speech and all that kind of stuff, but we're, She and I've said this before on the show. She has been an awful cat. She's pissed on everything I've ever owned. My leg, beds, couches, clothes, dog beds, rugs, bath mats, floor mats, chairs. You name it, she's peed on it, and it's been awful. But at the end of the day, it's still your cat. You've been around that long.
Yep.
It's just a member of the family, and so we're we're kind of taking it day by day. So I apologize to any listeners out there if I'm a little off this episode while we're kind of dealing with that in the household, but it's one of those things, and I'll anybody that's interested, I'll keep you posted on Cat Watch on the next episode. But yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag, but overall, man, we are super pumped about 2019. Looking forward to the year ahead for us here on the show for Warcraft. I think that we're gonna have a pretty good year for Warcraft. We've got one patch that's already launched, a new raid that's about to hit, another big patch which is coming around the corner, another big patch which is coming down later in the year, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get an announcement about the next expansion probably at BlizzCon in November. So I think 2019 is going to be a good year for us in Warcraft. Blizzard as a company, Activision Blizzard, is taking some more hits, so it's going to be interesting to see as time goes on what goes on with sort of the corporate culture, all the backlash and everything else. But, for me right now, I'm focused on the gameplay. I'm focused on having fun, and that's what we want to do. So,
absolutely. Keeping it positive.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as well later. But this is the house that Rage built. So firing off into 2019, I think it's time for us to find a little sweet spot and get down on some Rage.
Let's rage.
So as we mentioned, coming into this year, there's a lot of angst, a lot of anger, not just in Blizzard world, Activision Blizzard world, Warcraft, just kind of in the world in general. It's a pretty dark time outside of the walls of our hallowed games in a lot of respects. And we've said before, this isn't an overtly political show. This is not even a remotely political show. We just don't really talk about politics on here. But I think it's safe to say that the shade of things right now is a little darker than usual. So I want to take a little bit of a different take this episode on what we're getting ragey about. So instead of looking outward, I want to try taking a look inward. And when I'm thinking about the world and the state of things and everything that's going on, it's very easy to get caught up in things. It's very easy to get down. In general, I think it's also very easy for all of us to get down on ourselves, whether it's something emotionally, whether it's something physically, whether it's something professionally, whatever it is. I think that when you put all of these factors together, it's very easy to get down on yourself and to follow down a very dark and negative train of thought. So the way that I've kind of thought about this is that in this light for this year, what I want to rage against is all of that negative talk, that self-doubt, all of those things that you say to yourself or you believe that hold yourself back from making the changes that you need to make for your life to take a better turn, whether it's something that you need to do to get therapy to help with emotional issues that you may be having, whether it's, starting a diet plan and getting your butt back in the gym. This is me, trying to take control of physical aspects, even when, like for myself, I've got chronic pain issues. It's very difficult, and I've used that as an excuse, as a crutch for me not to do the things that I need to do to take better care of myself, and I've let a lot of that negative talk bleed in and say, you know what, you can't do this for these reasons. No, fuck that. I'm doing it because I need to do it. Whether it's something professionally where, you know what, I shouldn't apply for that job, or I shouldn't try for that thing, or I'm not good enough for this, that, or the other thing. Now is the time to take a look at that, rewind that thought and say, you know what, I'm going for it. Or I'm going to figure out a way to get there. I'm going to find the path that I need to take, whether it's going back to school, whether it's building my portfolio, whatever it is. Now is the time to take charge of these things. So as guilty as I am as the next guy of having these thoughts and of taking these actions, this is the year where I'm going to look inward and I'm going to rage against all of the things that are holding me back from living the best life that I can live, being the best person that I can be, and feeling the best that I can feel. And I would encourage anyone, it's a new year going forward. It's the thing, right? It's the fad. You start your diet, do the thing. You know what? Fine. Roll with it. Now is the time to do that. And I encourage anyone that is listening to this show and anyone that's following along to do the same for yourself. If you're having those feelings, if you're thinking those thoughts, take a look inside and figure out, what do I need to do to get help, seek help, find whatever you need to take that next step to get yourself into a place where you're feeling better. Because you can't control the world outside of your own head. Whatever's going on outside, it's a coin flip, man. You can try to control only so much. So for this year, that's what I want to rage about today, is all of those things that are holding you back, kick them in the ass, send them down the road, and say, you know what? I'm taking control of my life back. What do you think about that?
I think that's awesome. I think that's excellent. You know, that's something that I've struggled with all of my life, especially, you know, with my weight. You know, in high school, it was real easy for me to drop weight and shed pounds and stuff like that, playing football and things like that. But, you know, I always say, life got in the way. Oh, this got in the way. Oh, that got in the way. And now, you know, I'm looking at 320 at this point. You know, that's what's staring me in the face. And I need to lose weight so my body's working for one person and not like three people. You know, it's like that's what I got in my head. And there is that voice, even though you could be sitting there listening and you could be like, I don't say these things. I don't say this, that, and the other. You don't realize you're doing it. It's just in your head. It's when you finish up work and you're like, should I go home? Should I hit the gym? Well, you know, I worked out yesterday. I need a day off. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. Go to the gym. You don't need a day off. Get your ass in the gym. I've been listening to, and not to go too far off topic of this, I've been listening to, there's a gentleman online, Jocko Willink. He's a retired Navy SEAL, and he does all these types of leadership books and things like that. And I listen to his podcast. I've been watching his videos, and his thing is just don't make excuses. Do it. And it is,
that guy is hardcore, man.
He is the hardest of hardcore. Like gets up at 4:00 in the morning to work out, he's in bed by like 8:00, up the next day at 4 a.m. doing it all again. I mean, and it's just, if you need motivation, go watch one of these guys. Just go watch one of his YouTube videos. And I mean, damn, like seriously, if that doesn't get you motivated, I don't know what will. But yeah, 2019 is, for me, I have no choice. It's time for change, you know. So, you know, that's what I'm dealing with. So I think everybody listening can make one change today, and whether it's skip that second cup of coffee, say no to the donut, you know, whatever it is, you know, just do it for yourself, you know, and it'll improve your life tremendously.
Yeah, exactly. No, well said. And, you know, again, there's only so much that we can control, but it starts with ourselves. And I think that just given the negative state of so much that's around us, and kind of spurred by what's been going on around in the Warcraft community, I do want to kind of throw a little line out to the sort of the positive corners of our community and say, you know what, it's not a bad idea to try to look at ways to improve. And, you know, even for those of us that, you know, get ragey on things and get all bent out of shape about stuff, you know, there's ways for us to try to do better for ourselves and for our community. So I encourage everyone, if you can, take a look and see what you can do. With that being said, we do have some news to cover.
Yeah.
And we are about to head into, finally, the new raid, the Battle for Dazar'alor. So we've got that and a bunch of other items. Why don't we go ahead and jump into our news? So the Battle of Dazar'alor finally opens in about a week on the 22nd of January in the year of Odin, 2019. The schedule has been put up by the Warcraft folks, and you've got, again, this sort of staggered approach coming where you've got your normal, sort of normal heroic modes. Then later on, you've got your mythic modes and all that jazz. So that way, I guess people aren't compelled to do something. I don't know. I guess they stagger them so people have time to run that 1 week of 50 alts through the normal and heroic versions to gear up for mythic, or whatever those insane people do. But this is the first time, as we've talked about before, where you're going to have a raid that has two different experiences depending on which faction you're in. And even though it's in some ways laid out the same, where you'll go, you know, kind of in the same mechanically against the same fights, you're actually going to have different bosses for the different factions, which I think this is a great idea. I'm surprised that, maybe it's a tech thing. That's why we haven't done this before, but I think this is a wonderful change. So, Nev, what can you tell the folks about why we're there, maybe what's going on, or who we're going to see, or what can you fill the people in on that's not, because this is not a strategy podcast.
No,
you want strat?
No. Go
to Wowhead, go to Icy Veins, wherever. Go see your strat somewhere else. But just the vibe. What are we going to see when we get to Dazara lore?
So for ages untold, Dazara lore has stood at the center of the great and powerful Zandalari Empire.
Ooh.
Its guards have thwarted numerous attempts on King Rastakhan's life, and it has endured trials both ancient and new. But as war reaches the shores of Zuldazar, the Alliance embark on a daring gambit to besiege the Golden Pyramid and sever the Zandalari's bonds with the Horde.
Oh.
So Blizzard is, they're putting this whole expansion has been putting the war back in the craft. So we're back with Horde v Alliance. Sylvanas attacks the World Tree. So this time around, the Alliance are the aggressors with this blitz on the Zandalari capital city to sever ties between the Horde and the Zandalari. So to me with the attack, and I don't want to we're not going to get too far into the story or anything like that, but to me this kind of seems like if the Alliance are attacking, it would kind of solidify that bond, whole enemy of my enemy thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that makes sense to me for this attack is that the fleet is there. And, I feel like the Alliance is there to just destroy, the Zandalari and their fleet, because if you control the seas, you basically have the advantage, hands down. So right now it's destroy the fleet, and the Zandalari have no use to the Horde. You drive that wedge between the Alliance that they're trying to form. So I think, we're there to take out the Navy, and the rest of it's just targets of opportunity. But what's really neat about this raid is that it's going to be told from the two different factions. So we start off. So we'll start with the Horde side. So the Horde players begin the raid by defending against the invasion. And while they're defending against the invasion, the Alliance are going after. We're getting 9 raid bosses total for this?
9 fights total, yeah.
9 fights total. So we're getting, not only are we getting the treasure boss, Opulence, Conclave of the Chosen, which is the, what are they? The 6 Zandalars, Loa? What are the Loa?
Loa.
What are they?
Loa are like their gods.
Okay. All right. And then we're going after King Rastakhan himself. So
man.
Yeah, and what's interesting about this, the write-up that Blizzard gave us, and I'm not going to go too far into details, that there's a glaring there's just this glaring spoiler they've written within the whole thing. So I'm not going to go reading all that stuff. But on the flip side, so we'll go in and do this fight as the Alliance. We're attacking the Horde, and each side gets to experience the same thing. Once we're done with the Horde side, the Alliance get to see what the Horde did afterwards. So we're actually going to switch factions. So your character is going to switch factions, and not only it's not just a charismatic thing. You're not just swapping to look like something like an Orb of Deception. No, you're actually going to get all of the Horde traits of the racial switch that you get. So,
and they have a table up that shows
what I'm not happy about
everybody
this,
turns into.
but you know what? We're gonna stay positive here. I play a human, so we're stuck with. Hold on, let me rephrase that. I play a human, so we're gonna have the opportunity to play the undead. So
they got a sweet dance.
Have a sweet dance. Yeah,
they've got that slam dance down. I'm not too upset.
You know
about
what?
that.
That's true. I might get some good screenshots with that. So if we want to go down the list, they have a whole. I mean, I don't know if we want to go down the whole list. They have a whole thing out there.
If people want to check that out, they can. But there is a set. It's not like a random thing where it's like, oh, I wonder what I'll be this time. It's like there is a very specific set of translations that they've worked out to the point where it's like even upset some people. How can this be this? Except for Pandaren, because Pandaren are just Pandarens. Sorry, folks. You guys just stuck. So.
Yeah. So with that, we go in and then we're also, as a horde, we're going to take out, or we're going to attack or fight Mechatork, which will be a neat fight to see. Stormwall Blockade, which is Brother Joseph and Sister Catherine are devout worshippers of the waves. These proud Colterans will gladly risk their lives to ensure the safety of their compatriots. So this is a new set of characters that we're seeing.
Are these like Tide Sages?
I think these are the Tide Sages, yes.
Ooh.
And yeah, so it's kind of neat to see. We've seen Mechatork before, and yes, we're getting Lady Jaina Proudmoore as a raid boss. She's not a Banshee or whatever the hell. What were we saying? She was Dreadlord.
You mean she's not going full Dreadlord?
No, she's not going full Dreadlord. So but we still get her as a raid boss.
You got cheated.
I also don't think this will be the last we see of Jaina. I don't think this is going to be oh wow, so we've defeated Jaina and it's that's the end of Jaina. No,
no, because and this isn't too spoilery, right? But I think the whole thing is that when the Horde are fighting the Alliance have basically done their thing that they needed to do in Dazara lore. They've at least attempted it or whatever, and they're trying to get the hell out of there, and the Horde are trying to prevent them from escaping. So it's plausible to see where there may be some casualties or some shit may go down, but it's not. I doubt we're gonna lose Jaina.
No,
mid to early expansion. That would be weird.
It would
even
be
for Blizz. That would be weird. So with all of those going on, so we've got essentially three. It looks like three wings if you want to think about it in the LFR sense of things. You have two that you'll do as your faction. One is you'll do as the opposite faction, and even some of the other fights where you're normal faction. You're going to see mechanically the same fight, but with different characters depending on whether you're Horde or Alliance. So I know for like the first one, it's mechanically the same fight, but like the Horde are fighting like a Paladin and the Alliance are fighting somebody else.
Yeah.
So
it's fascinating.
I think this is so cool. I'm pumped about this.
I'm down. Absolutely.
From everything I've seen, people are pretty high on the fights themselves. I've had a chance to take a look at some of the early previews. Fat Boss, those dudes, running through, doing some of their guides. And this looks like another beautiful raid, obviously, because they just knock it out of the park every time with sort of the aesthetics. But the fights themselves do seem pretty varied. Some new mechanics, some ones that are surely going to irritate and piss a lot of people off, especially when it comes to lots of shit on the ground. I know one in particular, I saw that. But have you had a chance at all to take a look at any of the early peaks?
I have not. It's been on my list of things to do this week. I wanted to go look at some of the Fat Boss PTR stuff that he puts out every single time. But I have not had a chance to look at this, so it's going to be a surprise to me. I'll make it a point to go look at it tomorrow and see what these things look like. I did see the treasure boss. That
looks ridiculous.
That looks ridiculous. And my dumb ass went and attacked the treasure boss when we were going through with Flynn at the initial. I was like, I'm gonna go hit the treasure boss, and I'm like, oh, that's okay. That didn't work out so well. So yeah. So
I need about 19 other dudes for this
one. Yeah.
So speaking of loot and treasure. One of the things that I've seen talked about a little bit in conjunction with the raid itself. So we got bosses and the fights, and as time goes on, we'll talk about what happens in the raid. We'll talk about sort of the implications going forward, because we're a little more spoiler averse on this show, but we will get into that in the coming weeks. So don't worry about that. We will get more into that. I think we're just generally talking about the raid itself at this point. Horde defending against Alliance is kind of the vibe that we're getting. But one of the, I think, more interesting pieces of loot, or pieces, plural, many, that we're seeing is something called the Crowns of Opulence.
Yeah.
And the reason why this caught my eye is that we have, as of yet, not seen in this expansion anything remotely close to the legendaries that we had, a plethora of in the last expansion. Items that have some sort of extra special thing about them that makes them desirable. The Azerite gear, as just being Azerite gear, has not wowed anybody, I don't think, at this point. So that's not really a draw. But these in particular, so these are headpieces that drop, and they drop for each individual type of armor. So you've got your cloth, leather, mail, plate, all the usual jazz. And there are different aesthetic versions of these depending on which mode, LFR, normal, heroic, mythic, that you get them in. But what's interesting about these pieces of gear is that once you get them, you can actually pry a gem out, so to speak, of the crown, and depending on which one you get, it gives different buffs, which I thought that was pretty cool. Now, it's funny because on one hand, you've got one that'll give you 400 stats for a minute, so it's kind of like a pretty sweet boost, having that out there. But there's another one that just makes your friends sparkle. Yeah. So it kind of runs the gamut between ones that could be beneficial in some sort of, in a fight perhaps, or something that you're working on, and others are just totally aesthetic. So given that this is something that's a little bit different, do you think that this could be maybe a model for the kinds of special loot that we'll get in the future, as opposed to, because we still haven't heard anything about legendaries, we're not aware that any are happening in this expansion as of yet, but this is a type of loot drop that we haven't seen just yet, and maybe it could be something that further down the line you get something that's really powerful or really desirable, or something that draws people's attention more than just, here, I could have a gem that does stat boost, or I could have a gem that makes me sparkle.
Yeah, I'm actually, this is kind of neat that they're doing this. Some people I'm sure will like the RP thing of the crown. I'm not too, you know what? It is what it is. I'll make it work. I might go make a new tune that can transmog, like Burger King dude or something. I don't know, and wear that little crown like that. But yeah. I mean, I like it. I like the change up of that. It it's another random thing. You can do it every single day, and
there's a cooldown on the gems, right? Like how often you can pry one out.
Right. I believe it creates an item, and the item only lasts like 20 hours. So it's like it's not like mage food that when you get it, you log out, you lose it. You're gonna get it, and then you'll have it for the next 20 hours. So I was looking at some of this stuff. It's like increases your speed by 120 for 1 hour. That's kind of cool. Restores 33,251 health with a 1 minute cooldown. That's amazing. That is a great thing. Like that's awesome to have for raids and things like that. So, and you also get the increased stats for 400. Wow, 400 for 1 minute. So there's a pre-pot for you if you have that. So it's
big time.
It's they're trying stuff, folks. When people say Blizzard's done, they're not developing stuff. They're not trying stuff that's new. This is new. You're getting new stuff.
Trying it.
They're trying it.
We'll see how good it is.
Exactly. So
it's kind of weird though if you think about it, right? There's this crown.
Yeah.
And once a day you pry something out of it, and theoretically you could do this forever. So do you have a situation where this crown grows gems? Isn't that a little gross? Like little is this like Dr. Pimple Popper?
Oh.
Where you go in there and you're like, oh, here's a juicy one. I could watch Sapphire of Brilliance.
I'm one of those weird people that can sit there and watch those YouTube videos all day.
Oh, God. God. This stuff makes me want to vomit. Oh, it's so... Here's 19 ways to get a blackhead out of your nose. Oh.
Yep.
Well, now you're going to be wearing the version of that on your head, and once a day you'll be prying something juicy out of it.
Walking up to the mirror, popping gross. Gems out. Okay.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, as has become on an related topic, what has become a sort of a normal occurrence for us when a new raid tier drops is once the Battle of Dazar'alor is out, that means that the cutting edge and ahead of the curve achievements will go away.
Yep.
For Gahun kills in Uldir. So if you have not gotten your relevant kills, heroic, mythic, whatever, now is the time. You are running short of time. I know for us, we're just a heroic team. We don't mess around with that mythic crap. So we just got it last week.
Oh, down to the wire. Nice. Good job.
Down to the wire.
Hey, that's a good job. I'm glad you guys did that too, because I was gonna say, if you haven't done it, just look in the group finder and see if you guys can't find something.
You know what? We typically always make it. It's just barely. But how far now? Now you're a big time. You know.
Oh, don't say big time.
Swinging.
No.
Melon-sized testicular fortitude mythic raider here. How you guys just got what?
We are 3 of
Zvox?
Yeah,
Zvox?
Zekvoz was a pain in the ass. That boss sucks. It was. I honestly feel like, I mean, we learned the dance, and it's the same thing on heroic, except the you get these, the pools and whatnot, and if you don't get out of them, they'll kill you, and the lightning comes in faster. If you don't spread, that'll kill you. And we just didn't stack our raid full of, well, no, I guess we did. We had like 5 hunters and things like that. So but yeah, that fight sucks. I'm glad that we were, our team we are a heroic team that dabbles in mythic when we're done with the heroic. So our goal every time a raid comes out, our goal is to get ahead of the curve. Once we get ahead of the curve, and once everybody starts gearing stuff, and once we start, you know how it gets. You get into the raid in heroic, and then you blow through it, and then you're like, okay, well, we started 8, we're done at 9:30. Now what? Okay, time to start going to do mythic stuff. So we're doing that. So we're actually still pushing. We're gonna do Vectus next tomorrow night, actually.
Nice. Good luck.
Yeah, and that's gonna be a white fest, I think. But it's a learning thing. I like raiding with the people I raid with, and it's fun. It's and we're gonna have something new right around the corner. So, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with our progress. And I was complaining that I really didn't like Uldir all that much, and looking back, I think it was one of the better first raids that we were handed in any of the expansions.
Totally agree.
I think it was one of the better raids. I did not like, in Legion, I didn't like the very, very first raid. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know if
Nightmare.
It was I think it was the aesthetics. I couldn't, I don't know. I just, but this one,
well,
Uldir,
nothing can ever be worse than High Mall.
Oh, God. That was
High Mall was the worst intro raid ever. So people can say that BFA is worse than WAD. Please.
Wait a minute. This guy's on the cover. He must be a badass. This guy with the sword on his hand, for a hand, he must be a fucking badass. Nope, he's the first boss and you kill him and that's it.
Yeah.
What?
Awful.
He's one of the warlords.
Awful. That guy was metal as fuck and they took him right out. Terrible. Well, speaking of White Fests, so we do have a new raid coming.
Yep.
And as always, it is staggered. So while for us mere mortals, our real raid starts on the 22nd, the mythic portion of our world will start on the 29th. And as part of that, we are going to run our first contest of the year.
Woohoo!
So here goes. Now, the Mythic World First Race, I'm sure will commence as soon as that raid is available. And here's what we're going to do. If you tell us the team that is the first to clear it on Mythic, that is the first to clear Battle of Dazar'alor on Mythic, give us the team, the date which they finally clear it, and the time of their winning kill. We'll give you 1 month game time.
Awesome.
I have a feeling, we'll get 50 people that say method. Fine. Everybody can say the same team, but I want to know the day and the time that they get that kill. If for some reason we can't quite figure that out, we'll find a way to sort this deal out. But that's what we're looking for. And here's the rest of the rules. You can message myself. You can message Navox. You can send us an email to the show email account. You've got me at Berzerker Rage, Navox at NAV_OX, and the show email, unshackledfuryshow@gmail.com. Give us the team name, the date and time of the final kill, and we will give you 1 month's game time. And you have up until the Mythic Raid drops on the 29th. Once the race starts, all entries are closed, so you have about 10 days or so, given when I can finally edit this thing and get it out, to get us your pick. And I wish all of you good luck, and hopefully for a winner, I can match up with you on Battle.net and get you your prizes a lot easier than I did in our last contest. But who knows? So yes, Mythic World First contest being run by Unshackled Fury. Get us the team, the date of the winning kill, and the time of the kill, and you will get yourself 1 month free of game time. Sound pretty good?
Yeah.
Are you going to enter?
Am I going to enter? No, I feel like that's kind of...
Good, because you can't. You are
conflict of interest. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
So that covers all of the info that we're getting out to you on the Battle for Dazara lore. Again, I highly recommend for strats, for more in-depth information about this raid, go to World of Warcraft's website, go to Wowhead, go to MMO Champion forums, go to Icy Veins, go to all the usual places that you go, talk to your guildmates, jump in Discord, whatever. But those are kind of the highlights that we wanted to talk about on today's show. One quick mention, we did have recently a story and lore live stream with Taryn Gregory and Steve. God, I could never say his last name. I apologize. Dan Hauser?
Sounds good. We'll go with it.
All right. We're lore junkies on this show, and at least I know I certainly am. And Nev's
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
He loves the lore. He may not know all of it, but listen, none of us do. The only thing I really wanted to say about this was I was hoping that we would get some juicier bits out of that live stream, but being that this is kind of the most closely guarded group of secrets in all of Blizzarddom is the story and lore stuff. I was a little disappointed in that. I was hoping that we'd get some kind of revelations or something, but really it was confirming a lot of the things that we know, which is that they, plan stuff out way ahead of time. And they did get a chance to talk a little bit about, the difference in perspective between, who makes a mistake, whether it's a character or the writer and things like that. And they're hoping that, by the time Battle for Azeroth, is at its end, that all of the things that we've had conflict about will make more sense, that there's a meaningful conclusion to this portion of our story. I still have a lot of faith in those folks. So if you want to check it out, go ahead, watch the live stream. It's out there on all of your favorite video outlets. Might be a chance to pick up on something new about the way these folks operate that you haven't quite heard before. But hopefully next time we'll have some juicier questions and have a little bit more to slice and dice about. Last but not least on our news item list this week, before we go to our interview, is something that I know is very near and dear to your heart, Mr. Navox. So why don't you tell the folks about the awesome tribute we have coming in? Wow.
Yeah, so the Blizzard developers, this is really awesome. They added a Stan Lee tribute. And they added a little human in Orgrimmar and in Stormwind, I believe. I believe they're both places. I saw them on Wildhead. I don't know if they're actually... maybe he's just in Stormwind.
This is on the PTR right now.
This is on the PTR, and I think he's just in Stormwind Keep. So I'm going to say that's it. He's just in Stormwind Keep. And he walks around and patrols the area, and when he enters into the throne room, he says his famous line Excelsior, and I absolutely love this. Everybody in I think I think almost every fandom has added Stan Lee in some way, a tribute in some way or another, and I think it's awesome, and it's it's a needed reminder that with great power comes great responsibility. And in game, we're all superheroes. It's awesome. What we get to do in game. We're during the day, we're just parents. We're go to work. We come home. Sit at home. We do all sorts of things. Everybody does all sorts of different things. But when you log into game, you get to be that other person. And so the next time you're out in the world and you see someone near death or maybe somebody needs a hand, lend a hand and emote Excelsior. And remember, the exclamation mark is important. Enough said.
Yeah, it is pretty nice that they've added that in, and that's kind of part of what Blizzard has done with Warcraft over time is had this pop culture amalgamation that goes on.
Yeah.
And if there is somebody within our geekdom who deserves a place of honor in our beloved game, it has to be Stan Lee. I mean,
absolutely.
If you're part of any of this, rare is it the life that has not been touched by the work of that man. Mm-hmm. And I mean, even my parents who don't know shit about comics and have never watched any of these movies know his creations. They know who he is. I mean, that's how big of an influence that man had on so many people. So it's great to see that, and I know you're overjoyed. So that's, I want to see those screenshots when that goes live. So last but not least, this week we have our interview with the man who put our fine new intro together. And he, again, is a gentleman who goes by the name of Kane German, but to us, he is Kane Kong. We sat down with our buddy Kane and talked for more than an hour about his life, his love of music and Warcraft, and, of course, our project. We had a complete blast talking to this guy, had a super fun time, and we hope you enjoy this conversation as much as we did. So here now, our interview with the one and only Kane Kong. So anyone that hears this interview that we're about to conduct on the episode in which it appears, anything beyond, you have now heard the brand new intro theme for the Unshackled Fury podcast. And this is a project that Navox and I have been working on with a fantastically talented musician. And we knew that once we unleashed this thing upon the world, we had to have an interview with this fine gentleman to coincide with it, so everyone could find out what the deal is, who this guy is, where this thing came from, and all about him. So, welcome to the Unshackled Fury podcast, Mr. Kane Kong.
Hey, what's up? Put the clap track in there. Make sure you put the clap track in post, guys. Make me sound bigger than what I actually am. But what's up, dudes? Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. And I know Nav and I have just been shot out of a cannon.
Oh, yeah.
Over this entire process. And what you ended up giving us was just, I mean, that thing is phenomenal.
Bro, thank you.
Oh, it really is, yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't take all the credit. You guys give some really good feedback. How many iterations did we do? Like 8 or so? And it's like every time we're getting closer. But I think the last one was probably the good one. It's like when I finished that, I was like, I got it now. I got it. And then there was that one phone call we had where like, oh, we're going to change the entire direction. But instead we just added more things instead of changing the direction, which we still did. But I think the last track we ended with, the final track, works a lot better. And I dig it. I dig it, man. Thanks for letting me do that. Pretty much just allowed me to do my love of game soundtracks, Warcraft, and metal, dude. It's like I got to live out my fantasy of being a Mexican Viking. You know?
Well, we're definitely all about letting people into the Viking vibe and the warrior culture as much as possible. So
Pillage, Plunder, and Quesadillas.
You know what? I like that. That should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not only are you going to
That
be
is the
forever.
podcast episode title.
That is it right there.
That's it. That's it. I'm writing that shit down. Not only are you our in-house musician now, but you're also our unofficial spokesperson and slogan creator. So I like how this is going. So I want to get a little bit into your background, some of the more interesting details of your life. But first, I kind of want to get into how we actually hooked up here, because the first time that I think Navox and I became aware of you was when you had put out this metal cover of the Anduin theme that was retweeted by Neil Acree. Is that right?
Yeah, dude. I was pretty shocked, dude. I was pretty shocked. It was like, again, it was like a kid in a candy store. Like, I saw the retweet, and I'm just like, oh my god, you like retweeted me? Turned into a little girl, dude. He's a super cool dude. But yeah, I did the Anduin cover for the YouTube channel that me and my buddy run.
What's the name of the channel for the folks?
What is that channel?
It's Noisy Neighbors TV. We just do a lot of plugins. It's very metal oriented. We do plugin demos. We do covers. And we try to do more vlog style, but I just think we're not that interesting of people, even though we're pretty fucking hilarious.
Nobody's that interesting, to be honest.
Okay, you're absolutely right.
Look at the fucking Kardashians. They've been on TV for 10,000 years now, and they're the most vapid people on the planet.
How are they famous, dude? How are they famous? And how
porno, bro, porno.
See,
Porno.
I'm doing this all
it's
wrong,
just porn.
dude.
Yeah, exactly.
This
If
whole
we all
time
put
I
out a
thought,
sex tape, that's how it would happen.
Oh yeah.
all right, so I need to find a willing volunteer to put out a sex tape.
That's right.
And then at the end of the sex tape, it's like, not only do I lay down the pipe, but I also lay down the riffs. Go to my website, kingkong.com.
You are securing your job as our slogan maker by every passing second here. Now, on that YouTube channel that you guys have, you actually had a hit that or I mean, as far as YouTube goes, I think. I mean, you had a track that got some traction on there with several thousand views from what I saw.
Yeah, actually, dude, and those are the ones that don't think, like, you don't think there's like, oh, this is going to be, people are going to like this. But like the very first video we did a metal cover of You Are My Sunshine.
Yeah.
And I was still pretty green to like modern mixing, metal mixing, I should say, to that. So I just like not equipped, but I made best with what I did. And dude, till this day, that video still gets way more hits than anything else, dude. Way more hits. It's like
It's
pretty
pretty
cool.
funny.
It's like how that turned out. And I was like, that was the first video I edited, really, too. Like,
Where did you
dude,
guys shoot that thing?
at my house.
Oh, it's just in your house.
Yeah, we recorded at my house, and the car is my car. We're just driving around my neighborhood. It's like we had no other idea. I just bought a camera, and the computer I had at the time, dude, you would not believe it. It was just an old like i5 from like 2005.
Oh wow.
Nice.
It was insane, dude. So loading multiple clips, like I could not preview what the last video was gonna look like. So I'd have to render it, check the sequence, like see if everything was synced up and see if everything was cool and all the effects,
God.
and then have to go back into the editing because it would just like bog up. And then last year, my buddy Simon, he convinced me, and by convinced me, I mean he coerced me, to build a new PC, and he helped me, and God bless his soul, because it was like a 2-day process. The first day didn't boot up, but the second day, okay, so the first night, he's like, oh, let's go to Micro Center, because I wanted to get a hard drive, and whatnot, and I ended up buying all the components right there and then, and I was like, fuck it, dude, this is your entire plan this whole time, wasn't it? And he's just like, no, because his computer's pretty sick, dude. I think he had a i7, can't remember which one it was. I think it was a 6770 with two 1080 Ti's.
Oh wow.
SLI.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
His computer's beastly. It looks like a space rocket, but like he loves building it. So the first night, he built it. We couldn't get it to boot, and he stayed the night at my house, dude. And then the next morning I went to work, and he stayed at my house building it. And then he sent me a picture. It's like, it's alive. And I was like, damn, dude, this is sick. And then not until then, I had no way of checking my video. And now it's like, oh, sick. I have a computer that can handle video well, you know? So like, goes to, I mean, going back to the thing is like, it was cool to see how everything has passed, and video editing then, I didn't really have the proper means, but I still did it. And that video to this day still gets a lot more.
What kind of
It's-
plans do you guys have for that channel?
We were just actually talking with the buddy who helps us film it. Today we went to the swap meet to go for a walk, but ultimately we don't know what's gonna happen really, and we don't say that like in a negative way. It's like from the very get go, May and I were saying like, oh man, dude, like what do you want to do? And we just started throwing everything at. We just threw shit at the wall and saw what stick. And we
Yeah.
were like, oh, covers would be easy, cool, that's super easy. Demos be cool because we love gear. And like we threw skits out as an idea, and we're like, cool, let's do that too. But still to this day, we don't have like a solid format. Just do things that we like. So the plugin demos, covers, the vlog style stuff is kind of hit and miss. It's I don't really want to bog the internet with more of that shit. More of like
Right.
funny metal stuff because that's what we like, and we love laying down the slam. So
I
ahead.
actually think your YouTube channel is set out perfect right now because it's you know, you got a different video for each week or each time you put something out, it's different. You know, you go to these blog channels where it's just nothing but, oh hey, we're just gonna demo microphones constantly, or we're just gonna demo equipment constantly, and it's interesting. If I'm going out there trying to purchase that piece of equipment, I'm just gonna go plug something in and then go look and see what videos out there. But you've got like just a mix of stuff, and I actually prefer channels like that where you just like, hey, you know, here's what we did today, and you know, as long as you guys are having fun, I mean, that's the most important thing, I think.
Right, and that's kind of like the thing where we were talking about when we were talking about the demos. We both kind of agreed like there's tons of channels that do demos only, and a lot of them aren't that good. And the ones that we like, it's because there's a personality there. So even our demos aren't super in depth. You know what I mean? Like we've made an effort to put a demo track together to show what the plugin does. And then if you watch like our last demos, it's just us going over the general features and what we like about it. And it's never bullshitting. We won't demo a plugin that we don't like. And if we do it, we'll just give our honest review about it. You know what I mean?
Now, are you guys out there on Twitch also?
No, and we've thought about that, but that's...
I would have watched that, like, watching, like, when you put that stuff out on Twitter, when you were just like, hey, here's something I'm mixing, right? And you're just like, and you just play 30 seconds of it, and then you're like, all right, and then I'm going to start playing at this point. I would watch that shit for hours. Like, honest to God, there's so much mindless bullshit out there on Twitch that watching somebody do a creative process, I would watch that for hours on end rather than some chick play Twister and bullshit. You know, it's like... You know, you know what? That's good to hear because that's one of my biggest apprehensions. Like, I put out a video on Instagram a while back of I was recording some demo tracks. I was laying down the guitars and I kept fucking up. I just let the camera roll for like a solid 20 minutes, and it's funny. Like, I laid down more trash than good tracks. You know what I mean? So like, I think the interaction of like, oh fuck, I fucked up again, and obviously I was exaggerating the personality a little more for video's sake. But that's my biggest apprehension. I think I spoke to John about that too, because I did that on Twitter once, and I was like, nobody wants to fucking watch me play guitar. Oh, yeah, they do.
Like
yeah,
and I did that with the track for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the hell out of watching that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was
okay. Well,
awesome.
that's good. That's good to know. I would think that shit's boring. But then
We
again,
got to remember too is that most of us know nothing about how you work. I mean, musicians in general. I think that's why you have such rarefied air as a musician, because the rest of us mere mortals look at that process and go, "I could never fucking do that. I have no idea how he's doing this
Right.
stuff." I listened to the song that you gave us, and after we even worked on it, I have no idea even watching what you did, what you were doing.
Right. So I mean, that's good perspective to have. I was just chatting with my buddy earlier today, the guy with that helps us with the channel, Hugo, call him Juice. But like we were talking about like how like creative people just in general just think it's fucking boring, because to us it's kind of like natural. We're just kind of like being creative. That's our spot, and that's where we kind of sit. And we just think like, oh, nobody wants to watch that because it's just kind of monotonous. But that's what it is to us, because we're just like in the flow. But then I got to keep in mind, like, people that don't know how to play an instrument, they'd be like, oh, dude, how does it do that? Like, it's fucking magic. Like the other day I was showing my buddy how to play some stuff on the guitar, and I couldn't comprehend how he didn't see some of the possibilities, how to look at the fretboard. And then I remember, it's like, that's it, dude. That's really it. Like, I get it. Like, people don't do this often, you know? And like, think about so we don't even have to go on a huge scale. Like, people in my neighborhood, how many people know how to play an instrument? You know what I mean? Maybe like 4 out of
Right.
what? 120 residents. I mean, yeah, 120 people. So it's good to know that you guys are interested, because maybe I should do that. Because being on Twitch with that, I think that'd be super interesting. But at the same time, I don't want to be boring like the people that you just said, like, oh, playing Tetris or Twister. It's just boring. But I think maybe the music thing would be cool.
It's definitely, there's definitely there's a spot to fill for that. You go out there and right now I know Twitch has Bob Ross on replay, right? And it's just artwork. It's just creativity artwork stuff. And I could watch that. I love watching it. I love doing that stuff. But I'm more interested in watching the creative process of things that I just don't know how to do, or I'm just fascinated by how it's actually the creative process from start to finish. Like, I would love to just, I love to just watch people do that. Like, I would love to watch the composers of the World of Warcraft team, how they just sit and just compose the music, and where their inspiration comes from, that kind of stuff. Like, where they're like, oh, you know what? It's this is how I do this. I'm feeling this way, and that's why the music's going this way. And,
right.
So.
Yeah, I get that. So to kind of piggy off of that, so I actually used to have a podcast with a couple of buddies, and I actually interviewed Neil at his house. Super cool. So I met Neil I met him in 2014 at this like networking thing. And the coolest thing that kind of struck me is that he and I like became friends, and we weren't even talking about music. We were just talking about trips to Disneyland and tacos. You know what I mean? Like
that is a universal binding agent right there.
Right. And like I went home that day because like, dude, like obviously Neil's like, to me, he's very, very, he's an influence, right? He's very good at his craft. He's on a different level, and I put him on a pedestal.
You guy's a stud.
Dude, and I thought what was super admirable is that one time I had his phone number. Like, that's how I got his phone number. And it's like, holy shit, dude, I got Neil Hager's phone number. Dude, yeah. So like, I hit him up one day and just like asked him like, hey, dude, what sounds are you using for this? And he told me, and I was like, wow, dude took like, I mean, it's the little stuff like that. It just like humanized him, and I like learned that he's just a dude. But when I interviewed him at his house and I asked him exactly what like removing the magic and the mystique around like creating things, and like I was like, dude, so like tell me about your writing process. And he was just like, not a lot of magic, no smoke and mirrors, just grit and work through ideas, and that's it. Like,
oh wow, I just got an idea.
I'm being
just a random idea right off the top of my head, because that dude is into tacos. I've seen him like tweet stuff out there, right? We should just set something up, since you have his address, we could go through you, and you could be like, hey, we're going to send him like a box of tacos from like whatever taco place. You say it's from the Unshackled Fury show.
Yeah.
That won't be creepy.
I'm like,
here's
hey,
some
dude,
food
these
from
guys. You don't know them, but they're going to send you stuff to the house, where you sleep. Yeah, I give them your address.
Just trust them. They're cool, bro.
I was saying we'll filter it. No. We'll filter it through Kane. Kane will take care of that and be like,
you can be our taco emissary.
The taco emissary.
Hi, I'm Kane German, taco ambassador. Neil Acre Taco Embassy.
Corn or flour tortilla?
Me? Flour, dude. Flour.
Yes, thank you.
I think it's just where my dad's from. That's where they have like more flour than corn. But I think it's more nostalgic. But it tastes better, dude. Let's get real. Come on.
Dude, it's a war in this house over the corn versus flour tortilla.
Really?
So.
Oh wow.
My God, yes.
I actually do. I'll take a flour and wrap it around. Like if I eat a crunchy one, I'll take a flour one and wrap it around the crunchy one just to have that. But
dude, have you
Taco Bell deal?
Oh yeah.
Have you guys ever had a homemade tortilla?
Hell yeah.
Bro.
No, I've never had.
I live in California. You know I have.
No, I'm in Florida. I have to go to if I want real, like a real taco, I have to go to some shady part of town.
You gotta go like 8 states west.
Well, and that's the other thing. I should go out. I need to go out to the West Coast to actually get a real taco. Like, we have shit food here, but there are places. But they're.
You have to follow some dark alley to get to them.
You have to you have to follow some dark alley to get to this one place. Hand some dude like a $10 bill. They'll let you in, and you can order one, and then yeah.
$10 bill. He's like, he opens up his coat. He's like, you want a dozen? Pre-cooked right here. All you gotta do is
18 pack. Don't ask what the meat is.
He's like, also, my name is Jose. Okay, that's code name. Okay? You can call me Mr. Blanco. But yeah,
So you hooked up with Neil Acree at some point, and you had this interview, and so this was on a podcast that you had.
yeah.
What happened to that show?
So check it out. The office got broken into in 2016, December 2016, and they stole all the recording gear. So it's like, do we want to go through all that again? It's like, nah, we just kind of just let it die. But that was 2 years strong, and I looked up the interview maybe like a year ago, maybe no, a couple of months ago, and the podcast is not up anymore. So my buddy manages it, so I don't think it's up anymore. But it was cool, man. It was cool, and today I actually just asked Neil the other day about some sounds he was using, and it was cool. It was cool. He's a cool dude, man. He's cool. Yeah, he's super cool.
So now he came across this through your Twitter feed when you did the Anduin theme, and he's the one that put that out. And I know Navox, I think you're the one who actually messaged me and said, "Hey, check this out."
Yeah.
Aww.
And then we started talking, and I think there was a little bit of Twitter chit chat that went back and forth, and we were like, "Oh, dude, you should cover this. You should cover this. You should do Invincible. You should do all these things."
Oh, Invincible would be sick.
And then Nav on the back end and we were talking. We're like, we should get this guy. Oh, you think he'd do a theme for us? You think he'd do an intro? I don't know. Let's reach out and find out. So I think I was the one who reached out to you first and just said, "Hey, we got some ideas, or we would you be interested in doing a thing?" Was that like just, I don't know, we were like, "Oh, what the fuck is this guy?" Or
No, man. Like, I mean, I know the conversation started because you're like, "Oh, you should cover this song," and we kept going back and forth, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" Like, and then I think it was you, John, where you're like, "Hey, dude, you should do an album of Warcraft covers," and then like I scratched my head a little bit. And I was like, that would be pretty titties. That would be pretty sick, because that's something I would listen to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Oh, which, by the way, did you guys see the video of Scar Productions on YouTube cover Hymn of the Firstborn?
No.
is that
Dude.
recent?
No, I think it's like a year ago, but he did.
Because I've seen some of his other ones.
Dude, his cover of Anduin's theme, when I first saw it, before we released ours, and I was like, damn, that's
It's pretty good.
gnarly. Yeah, it's really good. Dude's got chops, singing, production, everything about it just sounds really good.
Well, that's
But
one
I
of
was
the
like,
things
well,
that. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say, well, maybe we shouldn't compare our version. It's different, and we're not in competition, right? We're not fighting. It's a completely different niche, and there's more than enough people willing to watch a video.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, just get out of your heads, and do it. And I'm glad we did, because it was fun.
Absolutely.
Originally, the plan was, we're gonna have one of my buddies throw down a solo too. So like, I was gonna represent the Horde side, and he was gonna play represent the Alliance side.
Huh.
So, and he's like, "Dude, I'm just slammed with work, dude. I can't." I was like, "Damn it!" And then another thing was, it was gonna be cool to have Neil lay down a solo too, because he plays guitar, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm super down." And like, "Okay, cool." And then last minute he's like, "Oh dude, I can't. Dude, I'm slammed, McGammed." And I'm like, "Okay, that's understandable."
Oh man.
That would have been cool, but like,
Oh.
who knows? We can probably do it in the future. You know?
Actually, you guys could probably do it at BlizzCon. You know, you know how they
dude,
had
that would be
seriously,
so sick, dude.
because they used to have that one band, the
Level 70 Elite Torn Chieftains.
Yes.
Or are you
Yes.
talking about Songhammer?
Oh my god.
They have Songhammer, they have the Elite Torn Chieftains, but I'm talking about like actually do it with the Blizzard, with Neil and team, and just go up there and do some heavy metal covers of like music.
That would be sick, dude. I'd be all about that, dude. I
Or at the very
Put a bug
least,
in
you
his
could
ear.
always.
I think we can make that happen. It's just a matter of like aligning schedules and having people
Yeah.
like sign up for it, you know?
Yeah, you guys got to get in on the talent show portion of the show.
Yeah, big time.
That'd be sick, dude. And then when that happens, I'll be like, "John and Adam, what's up, bros? The idea came to fruition." Give a shout out to my mom. But see, Mom, metal's not a phase. In your face. It wasn't a phase.
Listen to the Unshackled Fury podcast. Woo!
Fucking made it. Suck it, world.
We're always about the plugs. So we'd hooked up and started talking about a few things, and I know Adam and I kind of had some ideas fleshed out, and I had sent you, as we went through this process, at least the preliminary email. Well, that's what we were looking at was, we definitely want this heavy metal riffage thing going on, accompanied with, we thought, call to arms was a pretty good theme that, and to your point, Kane, it's a theme that's used by multiple shows. We are by no means the only one that is using the show. And in fact, I reached out to Ro over at Realm Maintenance because I was like, I know you've got one like this, and I know you. I don't know if you think we're ripping you off, but I swear we're not. We've been working on this for a while. But, you know, to your point, Kane, is that there's so much talent in the Warcraft community, and people are doing different takes on all of these various things that I don't think that anybody really gets tired of it or that upset about it, because there's always a different or a new take on this. And what I think you ended up putting together for us on this, you know, it represents everything that I think Nav and I love, which is, you know, the metal, Warcraft, the great music that all of the folks there have put together. And you just put a ton of heart and soul into that thing. And we were going back and forth about different stuff, and you were sending me little clips and pieces. And you know, for any other podcaster that's out there, anybody else out there that might be listening to this interview, this dude is so easy to work with. He took all of our suggestions, came up with amazing stuff on his own, that if you're ever looking for something to get done, you got to call my boy Kane here and get it hooked up, because he is legitimate when it comes to this. And if you haven't heard our theme, go back and listen to it again, because it's fucking amazing. And a lot of that is stuff that Kane came up with on his own. That soaring solo that comes in, we didn't say, hey, put a soaring solo in there. It just melted our faces off, and that's how it goes.
Oh,
and
you
that
guys have an insurance policy for that, dude. Your insurance covers that melting faces.
There's nothing that'll pay for that burn. It's good though.
It's a good thing I made you sign that release of liability waiver. You know,
that's right.
For that.
You know, my attorney almost didn't let me, but she was good about it. So
he had to sign a release of liability waiver for him too, because he advised you against it.
Oh no. It's balls to the wall here. That's how we operate at all times. But
well, dude, thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, and I'm glad you enjoyed the working with me. That's fuck, man. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, I mean, to the intro, make sure you listen to this one and the following one and everyone after that, so you can hear that soaring solo. You know,
it's amazing. And I know Nav and I, you know, for me, it's always been kind of a passion project in the sense that I've always wanted to have a custom intro for this show, and I've had to crib other stuff off the, you know, royalty-free channels and all this other bullshit. And I'm like, you know what? One of these days we really got to do something. And Nav and I have kind of talked about it off and on, but this was the first time I was like, you know what? Here's a dude that I think really gets our vibe. And after we talked for a little bit and kind of gone back and forth on some ideas, I was like, this guy's he's got the right ideas, got the right mojo. And I know, Nav, you had some really good ideas for music, and I think Call to Arms was actually your idea.
I just, you know, that song's just so iconic. It was used, you know, at the very, very beginning of World of Warcraft in general. Like, if you go back to the teaser trailer for Warcraft, the intro where it comes, I forget what the timestamp in it, but the big intro for that Call to Arms is where they showed the night elves, you know, and then they show the orcs and the night elves running towards each other, and the humans and the orcs and stuff like that. And that song is just transcended, you know, in different ways through all of the expansions. It's just been, you know, modified and just taken flight in multiple forms, you know, so iconic.
Exactly.
And the melody like lends itself to allowing it to be mutated and morphed into all the things. That's a good sign of a good melody, man. If it can transcend multiple genres and iterations, that's the sign. You know? Well, that's
and when you were creating it, when you were creating the intro, I was like, okay, so it's missing something. Then you're like, okay, yeah, it's missing the bass. So then you put the bass in, and then it's like, okay, so this sounds really good. And then you added the drums in it, and then it sounded so much better. And then you added these horns, and I'm like, what is he doing with these horns? And I'm like, wait a minute.
It's
now
power
it
metal,
sounds
dude.
really awesome. Like everything just flows so nicely in that creation, and it's like it's just another variant of it, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
I'm stoked. And confession, I think that's the first time that I actually mixed metal with the orchestra in a formal setting. Usually it's just like one's an afterthought and of the other, or the other way around. But this time it was like, let's keep both in mind at the same time, you know? So if you remember like the iterations where it's like, I think the orchestra's too up front now, and we kept going back and forth, like the orchestra's too back. All right, the orchestra's too busy here. I was like, okay, cool. So it was like going through that whole process was like a first time for me. Where it's like, okay, we got to keep both of these at the same time. We have to think about Metallica, S&M, like where both of them were working together simultaneously. I mean, definitely the orchestra was an afterthought, but they did have some arrangements where you can tell it was working together. And I'm glad. I'm stoked the way it turned out. Initially, when we were talking about that, I was like, okay, cool. Power metal, Sonata Arctica, Kane's Offering, stuff like that. And I do like the dark themes too, like Cradle of Filth too. But I don't want to get like the super blast beat stuff. I wanted to groove. So yeah, I'm glad the way it turned out. It lent itself to the melody, lent itself easily to what perspired, I guess.
Well, now for you, we've gone through and we've done this project, and we know you from some of the other things that you've done. Is music your full-time job, or is this more of a passion gig for you?
No, it is not my full-time job. I mean, ideally, obviously,
what do you do to make the rent?
I work real estate.
Oh,
yeah,
that's nice. Boring as hell,
dude. I know, but it gives me the autonomy to do so. And this past year or so, I don't know how vulnerable you want me to be, but this past year or so, it's kind of like I'm thinking about like, dude, I really like. Obviously, my passion is music, and that's the language I speak for sure. Yeah. I think like, man, if there's anything that I can do forever, it would be music. So it's kind of like got me thinking about like for sure prospecting more. And finding more gigs and stuff like that. I mean, I've done some cool work, which is cool, but it's never been like a full-time gig.
Yeah, what other projects have you worked on?
I do a lot of studio guitar work for my buddy. Can I say his name? Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
Sure.
Yeah, is Adam Gubman. He does a lot of stuff. He works on he's worked on Greatest Showman. He worked on Sausage Party, dude. So let me tell you how this started, dude. Adam, I met him in 2007. He was having like a party at his house, and I was a member of this Game Audio Network Guild gang. And I met him on there, and I was just about to audition for a university over here in Long Beach. And I messaged him like, hey, dude, like I saw that you went to Long Beach too. What's the audition process like? Because I'm gonna apply there too. And he's like, hey man, good to meet you. I'm actually having like a gang hang at my house. We can talk then. So long story short, I met him there, and I left my demo there of what I had at the time. And dude calls me back like a week later. And dude, like this is for sure something I'll always remember. I was at home in my parents' house, and he goes, "Hey dude, good to meet you. Saw your demo, listened to it." And straight up, I'm not even sugarcoating. He's like, "Hey dude, your writing's really good, but your production sucks." Straight up, dude. Like I can tell you're green. You're missing a lot of stuff. Like straight up, dude. It's like you have great ideas, good melodies, counter melodies, but seriously, your orchestrations suck. I can tell you're green. And then like he goes,
yeah, that's why I want to go to school, dude.
Yeah, but dude, like he didn't even have to do this. Like, how many people do you meet and you call them back? You know, like it's like
I call everybody back.
Well, get this deal gets even better because he's like, you know what I'm offering though? You can come over to my house and watch me work in my studio. You can pick up tips and tricks, and you can ask me questions. And nice. And I was like, what? Like, you're gonna let me like be a fly on the wall in your studio? I was like, yeah, dude, fuck it, dude, just come over. You can ask me questions, and that's how that relationship started.
That kind of mentorship is invaluable.
Dude, you have no idea. And I tell him that all the time. Like, dude, fuck, Adam. Like, how the fuck, dude? Like, I don't know, man. Like, why me? But and then it's like, whatever. The universe has plans for everybody.
Absolutely.
So I learned a lot from him. He's incredibly fast. He spits melodies out like nothing. He orchestrates like a madman. But and then over the years, he knew I played guitar, and then he started hiring me stuff like, hey, do you want to come in, lay down the guitar? And he would always like have me go to his studio, and it's just like, okay, cool. And he'd guide me. But eventually, I think what eventually happened is he trusted me, and he would just send me the music. And he would just say, hey, dude, you know what I like now? Just lay down guitars and send me the stems, which are the audio recordings. Mm-hmm. Just send me the stems, and we'll go from there. I was like, oh, cool, dude. And then that's how that started. And it went on to cool gigs like library music and some games, some iOS games. Earthfall. I don't know if
Come on, get the plug out.
Earthfall. See, the other games, the iOS games, I don't remember. Straight up.
You've done so many. You're so good now. You don't even have to remember what you worked on.
No, don't say that.
Damn, you are big time in us. I was wondering how this was going to go.
Damn it! No, not at all.
We
Not at
thought you were
all.
just a cool guy who liked tacos. Now we see it's Mr. Hollywood Kane.
No, nah, dude. If I was Hollywood Kane, I'd be like, sorry guys, I don't have time for the podcast.
That's
No, I've
I have an
made a,
influencer convention to go to.
yeah. Also, by the way, if you guys are interested in this product, use my code KaneKong10 to get 10% off your product order.
There, that's it.
Get this Cialis at 50% off.
Yeah, this it's a hard deal to pass up. No, but like a lot of iOS games, I don't think he ever told me the titles like initially, but then I started doing some co-writing with him not too long ago. He's like, "Hey, dude, you want to help come on board and come on do some writing here, like start pretty much do all the production." And he's like, "Well, and if anything that's missing, like on my production," he's like, "I can help you out with that. I'll charge you." And it'll but that's how that started. I did additional music for the iOS game called Gemscape Frontier. So I did the like escalation music, pretty much like anytime the match goes into overtime, you hear my music. And dude, let me tell you, so
Ooh.
I go into that session, or I gave him the audio stuff, thinking, all right, this is pretty solid. And he just goes, all right, dude, you're missing a lot of stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, dude, like what am I missing? And he's like, okay, cool, come over, and we'll go over it. So I go into his house, and I have to keep in mind, like, dude has arranged stuff and orchestrated stuff for like Disney. Within an hour and a half, maybe even less than that, the entire piece like took life, dude. So it's just like, all right, we're adding a trumpet here to double this line because we have some more strength in this timbre. He's like, okay, cool. I'm also gonna add clarinet, like pretty much orchestrating the melodies. And I felt like I was like green again, you know what I mean? But it goes with the territory. Dude's like a pro. He's at that level where, you know, Disney's hitting him up and stuff. So it's cool to have that kind of mentorship and kind of continue upping the bar, you know?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're working on right now that's of any note you want to share?
Yeah, actually, I'm working with JDV Music and Sound. They're a publisher in New York. We're putting together some albums for library music, which is the way that happens. Like we put together a collection of music for music supervisor networks to kind of just pull from for their product. I mean, for their shows or placements and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. That's something I'm working on now. I think we're working on an album called Heaven, which is going to be a lot of ambient stuff. Then after that, we're doing like an indie rock album, as well as doing some writing for trailers too, like music trailers.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome, and it's kind of like, you know, it's all coming together, dude. Again, the universe has plans for everybody. I'm stoked.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, man. And at I guess the question when you're making that transition is do you have a kind of like a goal in mind as to where you could make the full-time jump to doing the music gig? I mean, you are almost there. Are we still kind of like in resume building phase? Like where's the timeline for that, or do you have one?
Got it. So at this point, I legit feel like I'm starting over again, because when I got into real estate, you really just can't do that half-assed. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I got into real estate.
Not if you want to make a living.
Right. So when I got into real estate, it's like, you know what? Let's put the music on the back burner. You know what I mean? And the first year or so was rough because I love playing and writing and all that stuff. But this past couple of years, I've been working on the chops for, of course, practicing more guitar, mixing and mastering because of the YouTube channel. And that's what started with the YouTube channel, is just like a way to practice the craft. And it's like this whole passion for it just came back again. And I was just like listening to all the tracks that I wrote before. It's like, hey, that wasn't that bad, you know? Like I think it was serendipitous to kind of take a backseat to it all, to take stock and see the forest, you know what I mean? Take the whole picture in versus putting all that pressure. But again, it's all planning, man. I think I'm starting out, but I'm starting out pretty strong, because working with that publisher is kind of a godsend, because publishers, what usually happens there is you have to put the collection of music together, and then you have to shop it to all the different publishers to see who wants to put it in their library, right? Mm-hmm. So this guy, I did some work with him in 2013, another library piece for some reality show, and that placed really well. And lost contact with him for a couple years, and I hit him up in August, like, hey man, how you doing? Just saw, like, look at my BMI statement, and was like, saw that got placed, and he's like, yeah man, good to hear from you. And that conversation died. But the past couple of months, we've been in talks a lot, so that's how this library music came together. So that's cool.
Now, what's a BMI statement?
BMI is a performance rights organizations. So BMI is one of the performing rights organizations. There's ASCAP too, and those two organizations keep track of all the music placements and all the networks to make sure that composers get paid. So it's
Oh,
So
like
you get a little kickback?
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
look at you. You
Yeah.
are Mr. Hollywood.
You know what? I don't like to tell people. I don't want to intimidate them, but it's just another Sunday for me,
Listen, you got to get paid for this shit. I mean, that's the thing I think that,
Yeah.
and I know Nav and I see this a lot in the Warcraft community, and particularly we see it with, all the artists, is people demanding that, oh, well, you should want to do this thing for free, or you should want to do this for like $3 because it's free exposure for you, and blah, 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 blah. And I know that very early on when Nav and I were talking about this, I said, you know what, we got to find somebody and we're going to pay them because, there's going to be work put into this. And as you can attest to, we paid you for this work because you should be paid for the work.
Yeah,
And-
dude, thank you. Thank you.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
appreciate
only
that. And-
fair.
And I think, yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's kind of like knowing your worth. And if I'm going to make a living on this, then I can't be doing it for nothing. You know what I mean?
I'm just glad we got
right.
you before you went, big time Oscar award ceremony, and some way down the line, I'm gonna be watching this with my in-laws. I'm like, that's the guy who did our theme. Yeah, we knew him way back when,
And
dude.
you're gonna like send me a text, Kane, it's John and fucking Adam, dude, congratulations. I'm like,
Who?
phone, who dis? Who phone?
Who dis?
I'm just kidding. Who dis, bro? Nah, man. Nah, dude, can't do that. That's not my style at all.
Well, now, what can you tell me about Champagne Boulevard?
How the hell did you find that out?
Because I do my research. That's why.
Bro, shit, man. That band's been dead since May 14th, 2011. How the hell? Dude, okay, so check it out.
So you were in a band at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't in that band initially. They released 2 albums. The first album they released, and then the keyboardist, I started working with him at Best Buy, right?
And I believe you even have like a little interview video
How
through Best
the
Buy.
fuck did you know this? Dude,
I like to do
creepy. You're calling
research on my
Adam creepy
guests.
for wanting to send tacos?
Yeah.
Fucking- next thing
Yeah.
you'll be like, also,
When you
How long
went and
did
bought
you date your
shoes at
last
Macy's
girlfriend?
that
You
one
gonna
time.
what's up?
I said, yeah, when you went and bought shoes at Macy's that one time.
Damn it,
Why
I
did
took
you
my
pick that
shoes at
color?
Macy's.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I met Matt, the keyboardist at Best Buy. They had a musical instruments department. And then another guy named Chad. He was an amazing drummer. He worked there too, and he and I just connected on like a bunch of musical influences. It turns out that our drumline instructor was the same dude, and then our influences were like metal and like Dream Theater. So like
What was
right
the
away,
first
it's like
metal album you ever bought?
the best metal album or the first one.
The first one.
I think it was Master of Puppets.
That's
Oh,
a pretty
wow.
good album.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good
that's
choice.
a good one.
Good choice.
Yeah, and then well, truthfully, I still think Justice for All is better.
I won't disagree with you.
And Justice for All was just mean, dude. They had the tone, the attitude, the speed. It was just heavy, dude.
Before they started selling out.
Yeah, but even I mean, yeah.
We all have to say that. As Metallica fans, everybody has to have a line.
Yeah.
Sorry.
yeah.
Anyway, the band. You got into a band. You were getting into the band.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
getting people now.
So their guitar player was gonna quit, and Matt, Chad, and I were like really good friends. And Matt was like, "Hey, dude, our other guitar player's gonna quit. You want to come in?" And I was like, "Well," and the first album is completely different from the second album. It was like very like pop oriented, and then Chad wasn't on the first album too, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll try it out." And then because like they had Chad come in with like the Dream Theater and progressive chops. And then they had me come in with like the metal and the progressive chops. It just like began to shape and form, and it was just different, completely different like path than what they had been on. But we wrote a pretty sweet concept album in the span of like a year and a half, and we recorded it and everything. But that was that band, dude. It was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of practicing. We practiced like 4 nights a week, and that was just because Chad and I had like the drumline regimen down, where it's like practice with the metronome, practice meticulous, like all these things. So live it was fun, and we just felt super tight, you know what I mean, just like musically tight. It was fun, dude. I got to get
What
out.
happened?
Well, dude, the bass player, initially it was the bass player's like, dude, I'm just not having fun anymore.
No.
We're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And we're like, okay, dude, sorry you're feeling that way, but fuck, that sucks, you know. So obviously that took a toll on the band. But we found another bass player who was pretty good too, Josh. He just laid down the gnarliest bass. He had great tone, great feel, good vibe. But the death of the band really came when the drummer Chad left for Washington because his family was relocating there. So we're just like, fuck, dude, how the fuck are we gonna do this? Like, he's just an integral part. It's just like when Mike Portnoy left Dream Theater. It's just like a huge part of the songwriting process because now their albums, Dream Theater, doesn't sound the same anymore. But he left, and we're like, you know what, dude, that's it, dude. Let's just focus on something else. But that's how Champagne Boulevard died.
And do you guys do you have any reunion plans?
That's funny, dude, because Matt and the singer Jay are still like Jay's my best friend. He and I have lived together for like since June 1st, 2012. So, yeah, it's funny how that worked out. But he and I started practicing last year, just to kind of like put the show together, just a little like, hey, just one-off show, just to fucking get the chops up. But yeah, I know it's still in talks, but it's like we're technically playing with. I guess the only one that's different is the drummer, because the old bass player is now playing keyboards, and the bass player who replaced the old bass player is playing bass. So 4 out of 5 isn't that bad.
That's a band. You could make something out of that.
Yeah, it'd be super sweet. I mean, ideally that'd be super cool, but like my schedule is completely different than what it was 6 years ago, or whatever, however long that was, 7 years ago now. Yeah. So hopefully it goes through. And then Jay's getting the idea of like putting together like a punk rock cover band, like an old 90s and early 2000s punk rock band. That'd be sick, like No Effects and shit.
Oh, heck
that's right up Nav's alley.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, we could play like No Effects, Vandals. He loves
will
Vandals.
die. Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw the Vandals a couple of weeks ago in December. They played their Christmas album, the Oi to the World. It's fucking cool because they still put on a show and they still have like that youthful energy, dude. Super cool. Yep. And then the second they started their first notes, you see all the beer cans thrown up in the air, and you like end up with beer on you, and you're like, yep, definitely at a punk rock show. Great, dude. Thanks, Matthew, you bitch. All fucking wet now.
So now we've talked about our project. We've talked about one half of that project, which is your musical background. But the other half of that project is your background and your experience with World of Warcraft. Because after all, this is a World of Warcraft podcast. So probably should talk about Warcraft at some point. So I just like to point out, as you have stated already, but you are devout, diehard son of the Horde. Whereas Navox and I are Blue Bleeding Alliance members. So I'd like to point out that this project of ours may be the only way to bring warring factions together is a love of metal.
You're right. I don't know. If 2016, August 2016, we did put our differences aside to defeat the Legion, bro. You know,
we always seem to come together when it matters most, but then start flinging shit at each other as soon as nobody's looking.
Right. Yeah, man. So, I don't know, because I did start playing Legion start playing Alliance in Legion, and I was like, man, Draenei just looks so sick, dude. They look super sick. And then I did want to play the lore. I just wanted to see the lore on the Alliance side for Battle for Azeroth, which I saw a little bit when Jaina went back to her hometown, and like everyone's just like looking at her mean. I'm like, fuck, dude, this is so tense. And that one cutscene when you go back to Kul Tiras, and who's that lady? Lady Vash? No, who's that freaking lady? She looks Mexican. She looks Mexican with her sick.
The Priscilla Ashvane.
Lady Ashvane.
Ashvane. Yeah, Priscilla. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go. Yes, Priscilla Ashvane. You got it.
Ashvane. I saw that where she's just like looking at her. She's just looking at her, and she's just like condescending. It's like what fucking what did she say? Your tabard, what crest does it hold? And it's Proudmoore or something like that. But it's like, dude, I hope that lady goes down. You know what I mean? She's just like me. Like Jaina comes back. She's like trying to like make amends for her mistake. You know what I mean? And it's just like tense, dude. The whole time that cutscene is, it's just like, oh my god, like 4 minutes of tension. You're like, and the whole time I was watching with my buddies. We were playing the Alliance side, and we're on Discord, and silence, dude. All you hear is like, dude, oh my god, dude. Yeah.
Now, did you finish the whole storyline for the Alliance?
No, man. I only
Oh
got
my
to like
god.
112, I think it was. I don't play a lot of
Okay.
Alliance.
Okay. All right.
But fill me in, dude, because Jaina's storyline's sick. Dude, how about the freaking what's that one series where she showed her cutscene and she's on the ship? Late
The
Daughter of the Sea?
Warbringers?
Yeah, Warbringers. How gnarly was that freaking
Oh, no.
cinematic?
Oh yeah. Well, it was that was that cinematic, and then there was the battle for Lordaeron where she comes riding in on her father's ship.
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, that freaking cutscene to this day it still gives me chills, dude, because
Yeah.
like she comes in freaking annihilating everybody, ruins she clears out the field of what is it, the blight?
The blight.
And
Yeah.
and then that same cutscene where I get a total hard on for Sylvanas when she sees like people dying and she goes full blown Banshee Queen. She goes down that tower and she screams for the Horde. Every time, dude, chills and my pants get tighter and she's like, "Oh my god."
So are you more gonna follow Sylvanas or are you gonna follow Seraphine? Because I know the Horde have this thing where they have to choose at some point, right? I mean,
Dude. See, that's the thing, dude. Like, I'm a little torn, dude, because obviously Sylvanas, like, I pledge allegiance to her and she's kind of my wife.
You know,
But,
she
like-
full on went heel turn on you though.
She what?
She went full on bad guy on you.
Yeah, dude, but see, it's so rough, dude.
Like she's
because
slowly poisoning your coffee every morning.
Right. If she was a real person, she'd be a Latin woman, just psychotic. For sure, dude. She, just like the jealous type that just like looks at you while you sleep to make sure you don't say any other name. You know what I mean?
I don't know if that's mutually exclusive to any
Wow.
one specific
I'm not
background or not.
I'm not projecting, guys, I swear. But yeah, dude, like it's like I don't know, maybe because I'm just attracted to that, but whatever. Yeah, dude, I'm torn because Sourfang is the homie. He's been everywhere, man. You know, and
That
he's
guy's
got
rugged as shit. Even Alliance players, we love that guy. He's great.
right,
Yeah.
dude. Anduin loves that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That one scene where Sourfang's in the prison cell and he's like, I could have killed you when I had the chance or whatever. And he's like, I can kill you now. And he's like, why are you opening this or some shit like that? And he
Not
just
to
like
get it
opens
on.
Yeah. So is anything transpired since then? Like, is there any like treaties between?
we're not yet. We're still getting. January 22nd is the next raid. And we're still mulling around Old Deer at the moment. We've got the stage is set. We've got the new battlefront right now of Darkshore, and now we're just waiting
We're
for the
back at
next set of lore and story. So
Okay.
we're still in a holding pattern.
Enough for
Okay.
you. When did you start playing? Like, how far back does your Warcraft history go?
BC.
BC, nice.
Yeah.
What
I love
class?
Pretty good. What was your
Undead
first raid?
Rogue.
Undead
First-
Rogue. Okay.
I think I did Nax. When like I didn't even know what a raid was at the time. It's like I
You
just
just
remember a
wandered
bunch
in
of-
there like, what is this?
No, obviously, like my buddy's like, "Oh, come." I was like, "Okay," but I at the time like Vent for me wasn't a big deal, and I just like walked around and I had to watch the chat to know what was going on. So I was just like, "Oh, a bunch of fucking little dragons happening here. Is big dragon here?" Like I wasn't enveloped in the lore until Wrath, dude. But I enjoyed BC so much, and I like maybe I shouldn't say that because I remember Black Temple. I was pretty into it too. I remember doing Black Temple.
Why did you choose an Undead Rogue? I'm just curious. For Burning Crusade, you started Burning Crusade, you rolled an Undead Rogue, and you're still playing an Undead Rogue. What drove you to playing that Undead Rogue?
I think initially it was because going invisible was sick. You know?
Okay.
And the way my buddy was describing it, he's like, dude, rogues are sick, dude. You can go invisible, fuck shit up, dude. Fuck these little dudes wearing
Did-
cloth dresses. And he's like, you just do a lot of damage, but you gotta get out. I was like, I can go invisible? That's so sick. I tried an undead warrior initially and I just didn't like it. It was a little slower. And that's when
Yeah.
stances were still in.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't get into that. It's like that's a lot of maintenance, dude. But Undead Rogue, I was a sub rogue for a long time. I didn't even know what a rotation was. I just like to see big numbers, so I always just like ambushed everybody. It's like, oh, that's so sick. And then the gouge backstab combo too.
Well,
That
there was
was
also that video on YouTube of an Undead Rogue taking over Ironforge back in the day, and they were playing. It was Prodigy, Fuel My Fire, and it was like that's when I was like, I'm gonna make an Undead Rogue too, and I did. I actually rolled an Undead Rogue for that very reason. Back in the day, I played on Skull Crusher server, and so yeah, I was just trying to figure out like what was the whole thing with the whole undead, but that and their whole heavy metal dance thing they do.
Oh yeah, maybe that too. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's like the heavy metal thing. And also, my buddy sold me the idea of twinking. I didn't know what fucking twinking meant, dude. It's just like you're gonna
Yeah.
get all the best gear. I'm
Well,
like,
clearly, there are some channels on Pornhub you need to explore.
I've made some
Sorry.
bad decisions in my life. I made some bad decisions in my life. Going twinking on Pornhub was one of them. Um, hold on, I'm
Sorry, I
seeing a quick
derailed
message.
that.
No, I'm just gonna message my buddy. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. But yeah, I did the twinking thing at 39. I can't remember if I played at the tail end of BC for sure, and I can't remember if Mongoose was a BC enchantment or
Yes,
Lich King.
yes, it
enchantment.
was.
Okay, dude. So I remember twinking at 39, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I have a bunch of mats for Mongoose." And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like, dude, you're just gonna hit so hard, dude, when it procs. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
So he was a orc rogue, a combat rogue, and I was a sub rogue. And I just remember at that time I was getting into it. So he and I would just go to like BGs and just stealth and just wait for people to like be alone, and we would fuck shit up, dude. It was so awesome. I just remember like two-shotting people, one-shotting people. It was so much fun, dude. It was just laughing my ass off. And then Lich King hit, and then that's when I was like, oh my god, like friends at work were playing. It was a fun time. It was a fun time, but I think I had the most fun in BC because everybody started taking everything serious with all my friends, like raiding and shit like that, and I didn't really care for raiding then.
Mm.
Were you ever part of a pretty serious raiding guild?
No, I've only been in guilds with friends, and that usually just turns out to be like, hey, can you tank? And it's like, okay, very very informal. There's never like a set role or like a rating time. It's just like, who wants to play tonight? Okay, and for the most part, I mean, when I started playing again in Legion, it was just like be on Discord, and like even our dungeons, all we do is talk shit on each other and like make funny jokes, and I think that's for the most part that's where my enjoyment for that is. I can't take it too seriously because when you start like crunching numbers and doing all the number stuff, like, oh, your item level is this, so you should be
Oh, tell me
here.
about it.
Get this piece of
Yeah.
gear, like best in slot
That's Nav's
stuff.
life.
And like that's where usually,
Yeah.
no, I can't do that, man. I can't do that. I can't dedicate all that time to be grinding, to be boosting eye levels and best in slot gear, legendaries, and
Yeah, every single time you get an upgrade, it's /SimC, go out to raid bots, run another simulation. Oh, okay. Well, I need to put this gear on now because this will bump me up 0.22 DPS. It's like, yeah,
right. And
Okay.
those things matter. Is just it's not for me, man.
No,
I-
I totally get it. I absolutely get it. We should be just playing this game and not have to rely on third-party sites to play our characters or do the damage or something like that. But
Right. I mean, to that point, Icy Veins is a sick spot. Like, staying on top of rotations. Then you know what I mean. There. I mean, that's a good spot. I mean, you don't want to be outside of the rotation. You want to actually be useful, but I don't want to be the guy that sits out because I'm missing DPS. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah. So yeah, and then
Well, now,
all my
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and then like eventually all my friends started like phasing out. They just started getting mad at the game, like it's such a grind, blah blah blah, just complaining about everything. Like, don't play it, dude. So we started playing Overwatch.
I was going to say is that, at this point in time, at any rate, the community does seem to be in a bit of distress, and there seems to be, a wave of negativity kind of hitting right now in terms of gameplay, replayability, boredom, whatever you want to call it. And before this interview started, we were even chatting about how you haven't been on in a couple of months. Now, from your perspective as somebody, because Nav and I, we raid, we have regular teams scheduled during the week doing the thing. For somebody like yourself that's more casual than that, what brings you into the game? What brings you back to the game? And what keeps you from jumping in or logging on?
For sure. Well, obviously time. We all know how much of a time suck WoW can be.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, dude, I'm just gonna play for an hour or so just to get it out and to go do some work. And you're like, oh shit, it's 2 a.m. now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, look at all these missed calls. But that's so fun. It's so fun, and I think what really draws me is one, the lore. I loved everything about Legion, dude. Everything about it was awesome. Having Illidan back was awesome. Gul'dan's demise, all that stuff was so cool, man. It's just like brought me back. It was just like being a kid again. Playing with all my buddies. Having a computer that was fucking badass, you know, like thanks to my buddy Simon. It's just an entire different level of enjoyment. So for me, what draws me to the game is the lore, the story, the musical themes, obviously, because it brings me back to when I was first starting in music and game music. But I think the most important part, I think, what I tell my friends all the time when they start complaining, is like, I think the thing that I really enjoy the most is the banter between friends. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
like
yeah.
talking shit on each other. Wiping is fun. You know what I mean? Because I know there's going to be a joke about it. Obviously, I don't like to wipe for an hour, but that stuff's fun. And then like working out the kinks and taking down bosses. So for example, let me see. One boss that we sucked at was, what's his name? Himdall at Halls of Valor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so when it goes on Mythic and you start like have to call out where the dragons are gonna come, it's like, oh, he's in the middle. Oh, he's here. It's like, okay, now time to freaking bloodlust here or whatever the case may be. Stuff like that, working the things out is fun for me. You know what I mean? But when they start taking it too seriously, like even in LFR, when people like start like being super shitty in chat, and you're like, oh, bro, that's cool. Thanks, bro. This is LFR. I'm not trying to go MLG here, bro.
MLG, now there's a good throwback.
Is that not a thing anymore? Okay.
Well, yeah, you've taken a break at an interesting time because we're just getting into a new patch, and like Nav said, there's a new raid coming out on the 22nd of this month, and we're going to be Alliance side getting a different experience from Horde side. There's going to be 2 different raids going concurrently, and then kind of at the end you can swap and see what the other side is doing. So that's something I think we're looking forward to. Is that enough to get you into maybe some LFR, or are you going to wait till you have a little more time?
Yeah, I think I'm going to wait for more time. I'm really going to be focusing on this albums with that JDV music and sound stuff, the library music. Because even now it's just like pick up and play. And to really enjoy WoW, I think you kind of have to invest a little more than just pick up and play. You know what I mean? You can do LFR. I'd be super down for that. But I think I'm just gonna focus on the other thing, which sucks because I want to find out what's gonna happen with Sylvanas, Sourfang, Anduin. I like Anduin. He's a super cool dude.
Yeah.
And he's got a sick fucking theme, dude. You think you can mutate that to anything. But where is Sylvanas? Where is she? Because when I was playing, like she was just out. You know.
She's around.
Yeah, she's around, but we don't actually at this point. I don't know where she is. Like I remember her in the storyline, and now the latest story is we killed one of the Valkyrs and at the battle to regain Darkshore, and I don't know. Actually, there are some spoilers that I don't want to ruin because I'm that guy that goes out on Wowhead and I read all the spoiler stuff, so I kind of know what Sylvanas is up to.
Whereas I am very spoiler averse.
So
okay.
So you'll have to go check it out on Wowhead if you want to see some spoilers. But we do have that raid coming up soon, and the nice thing about WoW is this: you can take a break and then always come back, and then it doesn't take the game is designed to not exclude people from enjoying the content, so it won't take you very long to play catch up and then just jump back in whenever you want. It's very very friendly in that aspect these days.
Yeah, and I can also watch like a YouTube video with all the cinematics and like catching up on lore too.
Exactly.
There's always that guy.
There's plenty of those out there.
Videos.
Oh yeah.
Novel makes awesome videos, and I want to know what's gonna happen with Sourfang. What is he gonna do with Anduin? What's Anduin up to? What's gonna happen with Ashvane? What can you tell me there, Navox, without spoiling anything?
With
or what's current now? Yeah.
Well, okay. So what's current now is, like I just said, so Tyrande and Malfurion. I don't know if you saw that cutscene where they the throwdown where Malfurion goes crazy and starts killing the Horde. I don't know if you saw that.
What?
Cutscene. Yeah. See, you're out. Okay. So.
Oh yeah.
You saw the initial. Did you play through the initial burning of Teldrassil, and you saw how Saurfang, took Malfurion out, and then he was like, "Oh,
Oh yeah.
And then
Sylvanas is like, bring his head over here, and then Tyrande came, right, and then she's like, "You leave now, or you die," and shit like that.
Right.
Okay.
So fast forward past all that, and then you get to the old soldier cinematic, and then you get to see, and then eventually you see Anduin and Sarafang work on, hey, I can't take out Sylvanas by myself, and I'm gonna need your help, this, that, and the other. So then it gets, you fast forward to the Battle of Darkshore, and then you are helping Tyrande go through this ceremonial thing at the Night Well to become the Night Warrior, which to me, that's just so lame. It's still lame to me, but it is what it is. It's part of the story. So now she's this Night Warrior. She completed this whole ceremony, and you and she are just laying waste to the Horde on Darkshore. And then it'll eventually end in the cut where you're fighting Nathanos and two of Sylvanas's Valkyr. And you know how special those Valkyr are. That's keeping Sylvanas alive. Well, you end up killing one of them. So Nathanos retreats, and then eventually it goes to the cutscene that's been out there. It's out there on YouTube right now. You can actually go watch it. It's where Malfurion and Tyrande start just taking out the Horde one by one, and it's finally, we're finally seeing Malfurion's. The Night Elves in general they started out as this badass race of warriors and hunters and druids and things like that, and then it seems like it got watered down over time, and they're just become pushovers. Well, now it's kind of like regaining their balls. They're getting their balls back basically, and they're they're throwing down, and so it's it's all ramping up to this big It'll eventually wrap up where we're going into Dazara Lore, which is the new raid, and it's the Horde City Hub, and you'll eventually get you'll raid there, but then on the flip side, there's also a raid. There's a secondary raid that takes place, I believe, in Borealis, where you're fighting. I think it's where you're fighting Jaina. But the nice thing is, the game is actually going to make it so that like the Alliance players will actually flip to Horde when they're doing it. So it's like you're gonna,
so you can experience it.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll
swap factions, and you can play both sides. So it's you're not really I would say if you get the chance, hop in at least and do the Darkshore quest line. If I think Horde's actually attacking at the moment, so I think you actually get in. But it won't take long to play catch up.
That's cool to see Malfurion's got his balls back, because in Legion he was just a giant wuss, dude.
Yeah, he's not a pacifist anymore.
No, he's not this
like,
big pacifist anymore.
Tyrande,
Yeah, exactly.
my love. and then in Darkheart Thicket with the Shade of Xavius, he was like what in the Entangled Roots or whatever. He was like bound up the whole time, and he's like, dude, what the fuck, dude? You're like one of the best druids. You're just gonna let this Shade dude just like handle you, and we have to go save your ass? You didn't do shit, dude. Get out of here. And then I always take Illidan's side too, just because I know he liked Tyrande. Malfurion's like, check out my truck, babe. But yeah. Well, it's good to know he's got his balls back. I mean, I saw the cutscene where he goes to where he meets Nathanos in I think it was in Darkshore, and then Nathanos hears like the owl or something, and he just goes, "What now?" And he just walks out. And oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's where Malfurion like pulls those dudes into the earth and like starts going apeshit on the supply line.
Well, I don't remember that. Oh wait, yeah, that's right. And then he sends somebody to go send a message, right? Like to Nathanos?
he tells the troll. Yeah, he tells the troll. Yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, okay, I saw that. That's sick.
There you go.
Yeah,
You're more caught up than you know.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure like I get all the juicy bits, because I was getting like bogged down with all the content that's available, like doing all the stuff for. I really wanted to start my fishing. I don't know why. I just wanted to take more advantage of it, because you can cook some cool stuff and you take some cool elixirs too. I think, what is it? The salmon fat or whatever.
It's the oil.
The fishy oil, yeah. And then the island expedition's not my thing. PvP.
I'm not sure that it's anybody's thing but Navox's.
You like that, Navox?
No, I don't do any of that. Like I will do. I like doing PvP. I love doing PvP. Like that is one thing I do like doing.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not ripping it up in war mode.
Oh, dude, I love war mode.
Oh heck yeah, war mode's the way to go. And now that they give you they give you 2 quests every week that you can go do, and it's kill 25 horde and then go to the PvP hub, and then it's always like kill 10 of the opposing faction in some other zone. And the game's designed so that each side has the same zone to go to. Like this week it was Nazmir. So, and then the boss is actually in Nazmir, the world boss. So if you go over there in war mode, that is a lot of fun going over there in war mode, trying to do the world boss, have a raid of horde show up, have a raid of alliance show up. And it's just this big,
I love that, dude.
And I finally got my Horde Slayer title, so it's I got it this past week.
Yeah,
so
that's sick.
Yeah, and I found out that it's not that hard to get that title, because all you have to do is make sure that you're the one that's killing more of the opposing faction in the zone than anybody else. That's how you get that quest. So if you're in the zone and it doesn't pop up, eventually out of nowhere it could just randomly pop up, just because you just happen to be the one in the zone that has the most kills. So
don't discount it though. That's fucking cool. Any title's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like it.
Yeah. What do you mean?
I mean Fury Warrior.
Oh yeah, bro, you're tearing shit up.
I was doing arms, swapped to Fury, but now it's like I have arms, Fury, and Prot. So I'm geared out in all 3 specs at this point. So it's 381 in all 3 specs. So it's rip roaring with that. I love that. I love playing Warrior.
How do you like Prot?
Prot's actually fun now that they fixed it. It is not as slow as it was. I don't feel like I'm rage starved as much. I feel like the decrease to shield block was something we needed for a very long time, and I feel like it's a viable tank spec now. I really do. I have no problems going into Mythic Plus, tanking anything I need to. I have no problem running around the world, doing world quests, war mode as a Prot Warrior. I mean, it's 1v1 with a Prot Warrior. You don't want to mess with a Prot Warrior 1v1. Actually, any tank for that matter, like Blood DK, any tank you don't really want to mess with 1v1. It's horrible. Now I will say this: rogues fuck me up with Fury and arms. Like they just do. I get so frustrated with rogues, and when you get like 2 or 3 of them, it's just a pain in the ass. But other than that, I mean, I don't really have, Warrior's great for the mobility aspect of it and things like that, but
yeah,
I still gotta level my rogue up.
Yeah, well, they're both. I mean, maybe a couple years ago, I would have said like, yeah, I'm never gonna go up any plate wearer for that matter as a rogue. But I think in Legion, when I started playing again, and I really went like heavy assassination, I just like poked in and out, put the bleeds on, and kind of just disappeared for a bit and let it do the damage. It's like I'm pretty viable now,
Oh yeah,
viable.
Rogues are no joke.
Yeah,
it's fun. But if they get the like Fury Warriors, especially if I vanish and they start like whirlwinding everywhere, it's like I'm fucked, because now I only have that one cooldown, and if I try to like sprint, dude's just gonna heroic leap, kill me, because that's just bad news. But I remember the first time I caught a DK out in the world and I killed him. I literally I stopped, I stood up in my room and I was like, fuck yeah! It's like one of the first time I came back and I was like, fuck yeah, fuck you, dude! I was so hyped. It was super cool. But Warriors are fun, dude. I liked see, the Prot, I never felt like I was rage starved. I was just like spamming whatever the fucking thing that just gives me a bunch of, what's the one? Shield block? No, that used rage.
No, you have shield block, you have shield barrier, and you've got shield wall.
Yeah, and then you use a lot of ignore pain, right? Because the only warrior I have is my alliance side, so I play him very sparingly.
I use ignore pain, but also last stand now also deflects. Last stand is also a damage mitigation now. It just doesn't boost your health. It's also a damage mitigation now. So
that's the cooldown where it gives you 30% more health, right? And it gives the whole party.
Yeah, but now it also blocks incoming damage.
Suck it, world. Yeah. Yeah. Blood DKs are the shit. I remember the first time I played a DK, I felt so powerful just walking everywhere. And I was like screaming to my buddies, like, I am a walking fucking tank. Eat it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys never die. Fucking death strike.
Well, they're already dead, so it works out.
Right. Right.
All right. Listen, we've been yammering your ear off now for well over an hour, so I think you probably said it all at this point. We've talked about our project. We've talked about your background, both musically and in Warcraft. But before we go, is there anything else you'd like to plug or tell the people about or anything along those lines?
No, I mean, just check out my website, cankong.com, CAINKONG.com, and JDV Music and Sound. Let me see, because I think they just recently changed their website, but it's jdvmusicandsound.com. Who would have known that that's what it was? Who would have known? But that's the publisher I'll be doing music for. But if you have any projects that need music, you can also hit me up on cankong.com. You can follow me on Instagram at cankong, and that's pretty much it.
And I believe you also have Twitter at Kane_Kong.
See, that's why you get paid the big bucks, John. You can remember those details. That is correct. Kane_Kong.
That's it. All right, my friend. Well, it's been an enormous pleasure to chat with you and bring you on the show and tell everybody about what we've been working on. And again, for folks out there that are listening to this, if there is any musical need that you're looking for, if you two have some little project or something you want to work on, Kane is the man. He was so easy to work with, had lots of great ideas, and I could not recommend enough working with him on anything that you might have. So check him out on all of his various outlets, as he said, and we look forward to seeing what comes from you in the future, my friend. Thank you for coming on the show.
Later, Gators.
All right, well, that does it for this episode. Other than this fine program, where can the good people find you on the internet, Navox?
You can find me out on Twitter and Twitch. I am at NAV_OX.
As for me, you can always find me on Twitter at Berzerker Rage. Feel free to contact this show with your questions, comments, or otherwise at unshackledfuryshow@gmail.com. And you can find this show on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. So once again, thank you for listening. Remember to keep your swords wet and your banners high. And we'll see you next time. Farewell.